So thank you for taking the time. It's our first big event like this. For those who attended the CEO lunch that we did many times in the past years, this is as close as we can get from the CEO lunch. And I'm really very happy tonight to create this discussion. We have some amazing speakers, extremely knowledgeable. We have a very high level crowd, and I cannot wait to see which exchanges we're going to get. For your information, Eva over there is recording. So, you know, keep in mind it's recorded and it's meant to be broadcast online starting tomorrow. So everybody knows it's not like behind closed doors. Just for you to understand exactly what we're trying to achieve with 360 MetaFinance. So first of all, a big thank you to Kamel Amroun, who is here. I'm a big fan of him. A few months ago, we met him with Eva, and he said, yeah, I'm doing the Metaverse month. You guys need to do something. And we were like, yeah, good idea. So fast forward a few weeks after, here we go with 360 MetaFinance. And again, thank you for your energy and for launching such great collective projects. What is the 360 MetaFinance? I swear I'm going to be very quick. First of all, it's very high-level content. I'm really proud of that. For many years, I'm not going to name conferences, but you know what I mean. We tend to have the same speakers all the time from Luxembourg, saying the same things, and we all wait for the networking and the drinks at the end. I always wanted to change that, and because we have a bit of technology that you see there, the 360 box, we could afford, it's really a matter of price, to create high-level videos. Those ones are online since yesterday. You go on 360metafinance.com. It's like Netflix. Watch the one that you want to see, and you see the kind of special effect that we generate. For example, when Alain is speaking to Eric Larchevêque, they appear on the same thing. Roger Grimes is a white hat hacker, really fascinating. When Biba and Arnaud are with Junya Yamamoto, you will be blown away, I think, and I believe this is the future. I'm happy to talk to you even though I'm filmed, but I do believe we need to think of native digital content, and I'm not going to make secrets with you. We're going to push these videos during 6 months on LinkedIn, on newsletters, everywhere, because this is a new world. You can acquire audiences online which are much bigger than what Luxembourg alone can afford. And it's the same thing with speakers. I'm really not sure Eric Larchevêque would have accepted to take the time to travel here. No way. So this opens a real huge horizon of top content that we can find anywhere in the world. And for example, Xavier is preparing an amazing interview. There's several of you in the room. So dream big. Go for people that normally you cannot contact or you cannot bring to Luxembourg, and we'll make the magic happen. The key metrics, for those who followed what we did last year, and here I have to thank Nicolo Poli from HSBC, who was kicking our ass last year with ESG Square. We learned with him that today with this technology you can really maximize audiences. We did 50 videos with him, got more than 200 posts, more than 500,000 views, and then he was all over Andy and Duke, of course, because we got so much content. We published a book at the end, and we did a lot of videos on YouTube. So we really use all the possible options. And again, compared to traditional conferences, how can you fight? Maybe a big association can get 500 people in the room. With this project, we got really hundreds of thousands of views. To conclude, high-level content where Luxembourg top experts can interview international thought leaders. Content anywhere, anytime. I'm sure you're glad I'm not getting now 3 hours of speakers in my order. You decide what you watch and when you watch it. And high-level Q&A and networking. And just to conclude my presentation, I want to show you Cercle Municipal, because we were there just before COVID. Some of you were there. I'm bringing some good memories. So there's a war going on in Europe, we know, so there's not going to be black ties this year. It's going to be this kind of setup, and we don't think we're going to use seated table. We'll allow people to mix together. Just to remind you a bit what we did 2 years ago, that was really a lot of fun. That's world number 2 of chess. So I hope now you see exactly what we mean with 360 MetaFinance. Now, I am glad to welcome our 3 top speakers. So please, Biba, Xavier, Alain, join me on stage. So first, a quick introduction. I know you all have LinkedIn and Google, but Alain, I've met you, I think, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. He blew my mind away when he talked to me how he invested in Vistaprint, for example, you know, the little credit card business, which was already a
business card business.
The business card, and it was a unicorn, huh?
Not when we invested, but yes.
It became one.
It became one.
And then shortly after, you moved back to Luxembourg, because you are
Yes.
from Luxembourg origins. And I think everybody knows he's with Jérôme Vitamer at Expon and his other colleagues, making a big move in the private equity space. Biba also has an incredible story. For those who don't know her, she started as a regulator in Switzerland. I think this is a fantastic career plan, but she's also a lawyer. So now she has a legal firm in Luxembourg and in Switzerland. And she's really specialized in anything around the future of finance, blockchain. So it's going to be fantastic to have you answer our sharp questions. And Xavier, I think I can say it here, is one of my idols for many years. He was on the cover of ND a few years ago. I already admired him a long time ago because he is such a driven Luxembourgish entrepreneur. I'm always surprised that now it changed, but a few years ago, not so many people knew you. I think now it's getting better. And every time I meet him, more or less once or twice a year, he just says, Jérôme, you need to look at that. And every time, 6 months later, I slap my face. He sees trends before, and he convinced me that I should never invest in anything like Bitcoin, etc., because I don't do the homework. A guy like him does the homework, and I remember you told me the first time you heard about Bitcoin, it was the first conference ever in London, and you decided maybe it was too late to invest because the Bitcoin was at like $12. It just went from 6 to 12. It was like, shit, I missed the train. You know, when I first heard of Bitcoin, it was 13,000. Just to tell you how late I can be. So again, fantastic panel. I will start the conversation, but the name of the game today is you get to ask them questions about the future of finance, about blockchain, about anything you don't understand, DeFi, whatever, you name it. I'm here to facilitate that, and when we don't have any more questions, we go back and drink and eat. Fair enough? Perfect. So first of all, what I would like is each of you, and of course Biba, if you want to, you can start. Could you share with us your vision about the future of finance with the perspectives that you want in the coming years?
Okay, that's quite a large question. Yeah, okay, I'm biased as well because I love crypto, so definitely. I think it's not digitalized. It's not efficient so far, and needs to be a little bit more efficient, digitalized, interoperational between the traditional finance, the more conservative finance, and the more cutting-edge finance, I would say. There is still streams and so on, also because of the regulation and the protection of retail investors and qualified investors, which you'll see less when it's about crypto because they have direct access to this kind of investment, and they do their research for a lot of them. So, I mean, this would be a great perspective in the future to see all these streams work a little bit together.
When you say streams, you mean silos?
Yeah, it's silos, but it's also, I mean, someone with specified in private equity in VC will not necessarily see the bridge between, I don't know, securities, raising debts, going into crypto, into metaverse, and so on. So you need to be a little bit more open to do that. And still in big financial institutions, you still have desks on specific investment typically. And that would be really interesting if the finance could sometimes have more bridges among itself.
Okay, so for you, the cause could be partly regulation and also maybe mindsets or legacies.
Yeah.
Perfect. Alain, what about you? How do you see the future of finance?
So first, as a venture capital investor, I see the future through Google's, through the startups that plan to launch services and new products that will be on the market in 2 years and that could have an impact in 3-4 years. So this is my way to see the future. Imagining myself alone, a future is something that is just an utopia, and I don't think that it's valid. And I see the future through a number of options or possibility, like a number of different universes. I don't know what is going to be the success, what is going to be the future. I know that it could be this or this. It could be based on crypto or it could not be based on crypto. Yeah. There's still some uncertainty about the future. But what I feel is that what I see is that a number of initiatives are here to simplify finance, to automatize, to digitize, to reduce the cost. Most of the projects or companies I see are not solving a big issue for humanity. Could be for developing countries, but most of them are not. And most of them are just dealing with this simplification and reduction of costs. Maybe it is sad to say that, but here in Luxembourg, there are very few projects targeting the change, the inclusion of people living in the middle of Africa or in other countries.
Yes. Yes, I want to jump on the last point you said. So there will be different countries, different areas of this world who will adopt the new financial ways and the new blockchain ways than others. And all the countries where people are not bankable, where they don't have a bank account, will definitely go to DeFi, and they, just by opening a wallet on their computer, they have a bank account and they can wire money, crypto, and get crypto. So there will be different speeds, and countries like Luxembourg and Europe will of course be much slower than these countries. To come back to your question though, I see two aspects to where finance will go and definitely will go. And they are coming from blockchain, number one, because blockchain allows digital ownership. So digital ownership is the core of crypto. You can prove that crypto is yours, same with the NFTs and everything around NFTs. So the digital ownership will make that actually everything goes digital. So even our euro and our US dollar and many countries already are going. So China opened their test phase with their, how do you call, CNBD or whatever. So the countries' cryptos are actually coming. So it's also digital. We have already the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, we have the stable coins. So the digital ownerships first makes it possible for finance to evolve. The second aspects are the smart contracts. So the smart contracts allow DeFi, allow to, as you said, at lower costs, to do complex, very complex contracts around with interest rates, with splitting money left, right between 10 people. At no cost, you can have smart contracts that regulate and do finance in a totally other way, completely transparent. So everything is transparent, every transaction can be read by everybody or not. You can decide which part you want on the blockchain and which not. So actually, finance will be disrupted big time, big time, and it's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when.
And we know that the concept of money is fully based on trust. So what about the trust in this new technology? We always hear, you know, a big hack or something like this. Do you think trust is coming for all those new technologies?
Well, if you look at all the hacks that you can read about, they are never on the core of the technology. So the core of the technology has never been hacked. So it was always stupid mistakes. The last hack I saw, it was because people said if you have 51% of all the tokens, you can decide to move them all. Well, somebody came, took 51% and moved all the rest of the money out. So stupid things like that, it's always around, or mistakes, or trusting people inside when they say they have multi-signature, but in reality 3 signatures out of 5 is still at the same person. So it's mostly stupid mistakes. It's never the core of the technology that has been hacked so far, and normally cannot.
What about you, Biba? Do you think that from the regulator point of view and the lawyer point of view, trust is coming? You see improvement year after year?
You put regulator and trust in the same sentence. So.
A little lower, just a little lower.
Yeah. Yeah, it works. Okay. So putting trust and regulator in the same sentence is quite a challenge for me to answer. The purpose of a regulation, the purpose of a law is usually to protect the investors. And depending on the country, for sure, you have a balance and you have a practical way and pragmatic way. And to be honest, from what I've seen in Luxembourg, people are smart enough to have the practical way compared to other countries in Europe. So definitely that's. So coming back to your questions about trust and regulation, I mean, many legislation gives a little bit of room exactly to see how to develop the innovation. And I've been saying that a lot of time because there is people asking me, because I have office in Switzerland and I have office in Luxembourg. Luxembourg people tell me, we are too late, we are too slow, go to Switzerland. And in Switzerland, it says, hey, you know what, in Luxembourg, they are still doing these funds, and they are doing that, and so on. I mean, don't think about what the other things. Do your business model, see where it fits the most, where is the expertise. You want to go into private banking, you want to go into understanding and having a clear understanding on the token from a regulation perspective, sure, in Switzerland you can. In Switzerland you can set up a payment institution without going into a payment institution authorization, which gives a leverage. But in Luxembourg, you can also look at how to set up crypto funds. You can look also in other area where you can just have a vast license. So, I mean, it's not anymore about trust. It's about understanding where you want to go with your business model. What do you want to develop? Either from top to down or from the community to your business model. And then afterwards, you see where it's the best solution.
And do you think to do that, you need to also upgrade the management of companies? Because, you know, I'm getting older. I hear this a lot right now. Do we need to upgrade the boards of Luxembourgish companies with younger people?
Well, that's a fair question. I mean, it's not about age. It's about how you wanna open your mind. If you want to get the resource to understand the basic to the other solution. When I'm doing training on crypto, for sure, I explain the blockchain, but I explain also what typically the business model they can develop and see what is their interest. So, I mean, that's not necessarily to have young people. For sure, it's interesting to have diversity on boards typically. I would not say the contrary because I'm also sitting on boards of banks. But it's also about having the people trying to open the mind to new technology, not only crypto, but as you said, RegTech, as you said also the basic of understanding the tech, for sure. That's also a good point. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Maybe just my last question, and then I'll take questions from the audience. Could you name one startup that you saw recently that blew your mind, where you said, well, this is going to impact the future, not necessarily of finance, but they will impact the future? Maybe one with satellite?
Yeah, we are talking about finance. So I was thinking about finance, but for sure, there are projects that we see that are way above others. And it's very tough to accept when you are CEO developing a fantastic project that you hear from a VC that is not good enough, and we have seen something which is way better. It's not good to hear that, but that's reality. There are entrepreneurs that want to just change the world, the entire world, not just have a small impact. I'm thinking about two of our portfolio companies when I'm talking about that. The first is one partially based here in Luxembourg, which is Spire. Spire is going to completely revolutionize weather forecasting and a number of services that have an impact all over the world that will save dozens of thousands of lives every year, increase the capacity of developing new business everywhere around the world. So it has a huge impact. Or, as another example, Delivery Hero, for example, that is going to become a company making hundreds of billions of dollars of revenues. That's maybe impossible to imagine today.
Delivering food.
Sorry?
They deliver food.
They deliver food and other projects, but there are companies that are maturing here that will change the world. We also did an investment in a company in Vienna named refurbishing products that started with mobile phones, but now are selling fashion stuff, not refurbished, but made of recycled piece of fabric. And what they want to do is to become the green Amazon. So what is absolutely fantastic in Europe is that we see here a number of projects that are trying to compete with the biggest companies in the USA. It was not the case 15 years ago. So there are. So it's fantastic for Europe, I would say. So a number of companies I see are just blowing my mind, just because I've been so long in the business that it's not new to me, but I'm so happy to see the recent development of entrepreneurship in Europe.
Biba, did you see recently some startups where you were really shocked?
Yeah, so I'm not a VC, and I can't necessarily name some of them as well, but what I find really interesting in the crypto space, to be honest, is that you have a lot of development that is coming every day, and with new company and new startups. Which amazing is that from a technology that is only 10 years, a little bit more than 10 years, you have gone from the payments to the securities, to develop the NFT, which allows you to ensure that it's your own identity that will be exchanged, then to the metaverse, and then you can necessarily build a world with all these different aspects, and each time you go into this ecosystem, there is a new startup, there is someone that thought about taking this advantage and comes with a solution that is actually a solution that is available for everybody, and you can read and you do your research. So I give you an example, nothing specific, but there is a company that actually try to look at the counterfeit of each things, and they began with, because it's a Swiss company, they began with doing the scan very thoroughly of each watch, and from the imperfection of the watch, they can extract the characteristic of this watch and say this watch is unique, and put it on the blockchain and ensure, because I recently read as well that apparently Rolex, Audemars Piguet and Jaeger LeCoultre are actually 3, 4, 5 times the price of a one that you can buy on the primary market, because you can get it very quickly. So it means that for that to get on the secondary market, it means that you need to ensure that it's a real one. Then you have the company that comes with that.
So like a Darwinian approach to all those new technology. Everything evolving very fast. Xavier, I know you're very active also as an investor. So what have you seen recently that really impressed you?
So in the NFT space, what impressed me was the Bored Ape Yard Club. So these apes that you see this as that you have as avatars that are the most expensive NFTs now that go around, and especially what they did over the last week. So over the last week, they brought out their own token. So we have now a cryptocurrency called Ape. It was very successful with that, actually. And they also launched their own metaverse now. So they also have an own world, and they airdropped, how you call it, every ape owner got lands of that one. So their executions, it's amazing. So they raised also 400 million, I guess, at a valuation of 4 billion, if I'm not wrong. So the execution and how this world and the metaverse world goes on and how fast they were active, that impressed me. But the second thing that I want to say that impressed me a lot, that many people did not get, is actually Elon Musk's move on Twitter. Elon Musk's move on Twitter is actually a crypto move. People don't know that. And actually, he got Binance with him alongside investing 500 million in Twitter along. So Binance is the exchange. And the goal is, because of digital ownership, Twitter will move completely, and also the aspect merging of NFTs, but even content that you can authentify, that the content that you publish is from you, and so on. So there is a complete world are merging together, and so that's an impressive move, and he has quite a vision there.
Yeah, I think you've seen the very short declaration from Elon Musk last week. He said, first move I'll do is authentify every human on Twitter. This is so short and so deep.
Yeah. Blockchain.
And he basically said, I'm going to get rid of all the bots. And we know that there are millions. It already happened in the past. And Obama lost like 5 million followers just like that. Not just Obama, but it was just an example. So again, very short sentence, very, very deep message. But I didn't see the Binance info. So we don't read the same.
That's a brand new. That's hot, a few hours old.
Thank you very much. I'm going to slap my face in 6 months again. So let me know, please, who has question. You can really go, ask what you really want to understand. I don't think you'll have a better chance this year to get some clear explanation about very complex concepts. Who wants to shoot first? Kamel, I'll give you the microphone. Oh, it's for the recording.
How about the sustainability in finance? And because we didn't talk about these things on your project that you named, nothing about climate change, etc. Do you have something to say on it?
Sustainability in finance. Yeah. So maybe the first thing I think about sustainability in finance is that for sure in each and every industry, we will be not forced but incentivized working on sustainability to reduce the consumption of raw materials or energy or whatever. So first thing I think when you say that is what we know about cryptos that use data centers and big computations, computing systems in order to process the ledgers and work on that, mine and everything. That for sure it's we can say, oh yes, it costs a fortune in megawatt hours, and you will hear on the other side that yes, but we produce green energy to do that. There are a number of providers, mining providers that use green energy. But one could also say we will save plenty of costs or energy costs that are saved by using crypto instead of other approaches. So it's difficult to have a global balance of energy consumption and to see, for example, with cryptos, what is the real positive or negative impact. You want to say something?
I want to say something. I'm very nervous when I hear about that. So for me, when we talk about finance, I don't talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is for me, for people like investing in gold. Bitcoin, it doesn't have smart contracts behind it. So when we talk about the future of finance, we are talking mostly Ethereum and other blockchains. And Ethereum is going to proof of stake, going away from proof of work. So it's going to be sustainable much more. And then, as Alain said, right, is all the smart contracts, everything, the transactions that will happen automatically, compared where nowadays you have so many notaries or so many clerks or so many people verifying in the back office what you do. It's actually a lot of saving of energy.
And papers.
And paper, but not just paper, a lot.
Any other question over there? Coming to Philippe. Philippe, I'll hold the microphone for you.
Thank you. Following up on your statement in regards to the new tech displacing the traditional finance, right? We still have a legacy and an immense amount of money managed by the traditional finance, and certainly the actors are going to compete or collaborate in the coming years and coexist. So how would you see the interoperability, right? Because some of these new DeFi as kind of working a kind of closed loop in other universe than the traditional one.
If I may, when I answered before, he just said it's going to disrupt. I'm not sure actually it's going to disrupt. It's not one against the other. It's really one with the other. I mean, crypto assets, not metaverse. Crypto assets are a specific class of assets that you can either have it digitalized, tokenized, and getting efficient. I'm pretty sure you're still going to have traditional finance. It's a question of, as I said before, cohabitation, understanding, education, and also really thinking about the operation between the two of them. I mean, if you are going to buy a real estate, you still want to have your real estate as well. It's not like you were going to fully digitize everything. And I'm convinced about that. I know we don't have exactly the same view, but it's not one against the other, definitely not. And so, as I said before, the key is really about getting the silos and trying to find the bridge. And if you have companies that are doing that, typically you have also companies that are doing fiat, so traditional euro, CHF, blah, 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 and crypto. They are the big winner, because they understood they want to be in the two areas.
Yeah. I have quite a few startups who came to me and said, we are going to do this project on blockchain. It's going to be fantastic. I look at the project and very often I say, but you can do that very well with a centralized database. You would be much better off. So not everything will be blockchain. Or very often parts of businesses, parts of finance still need centralized database, still to have your own closed system. It's only as soon as you go out and you will interact with the other banks, with other institutionals, where it makes sense to go through blockchain, to have transparency, to have verification possibility and the speed of transaction. So it's going to be a shift, a move, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, so I think there is going to be as well a huge revolution with the use of NFTs in the coming years. And I feel that it's going to give freedom to each, and to give freedom and dignity for each of us, just because people that just spend time online will be not tagged, but will be given kind of NFT tokens, whatever we name that, just prove that they spend time. So, for example, you remember that we taught a number 10 years ago about what we call user-generated content. So, people or companies make money on the fact that there are a number of users spending plenty of time to build things. But in the near future, I feel, and I'm convinced, that they will be given a proof of their work and being rewarded for that. So it means that all those guys that are adding content on Twitter or wherever, spending time just to help animate or play with all those tools, all those people will be rewarded and not used as slaves. Because one could say that most of humanity now is slave of the big players, the Facebooks and others, just make money on the back of all those people publishing photos for free. So they will be rewarded, and I think it's good for the future.
I mean, I understand, but as well, to be honest, you are all you recall the beginning of internet. The beginning of internet, everybody saws, yeah, okay, it's going to be something. It's not going to be a game changer. Sure, it's a game changer. We do a lot with internet, and now we do a lot, for sure. But we are still going to the gardens. We are still trying to feed each other, and so on. So, again, it's going to be and I would not do what I'm doing in crypto if I would not believe that it's going to change. And I'm a strong believer. But it's not going to erase everything. It's going to cohabit, and it's going to give more dignity. It's going to give self-sovereignty in terms of identity. But it's not going to be the only thing.
Yeah, but my kids would go with the virtual headset in their garden.
So maybe one last question. The concept is to have a Q&A session together and a lot of time for networking. So I've got one from Guillaume. Guillaume.
I will try to make my question simple, and definitely I don't have the answer. That's why I love my question. How long would it take to quantum computing to challenge blockchain?
Luckily, quantum computer is not that strong yet. Otherwise, we would have big problems with our wallets. So that's a big question, of course, that everybody that has wallets with crypto in it is asking himself. But actually, as this technology will come, it was like every time with encryption and every time with CPUs getting stronger, if quantum computer comes, then crypto will adapt quantum too. So then also the encryption will become stronger, and then the crypto space will have to adapt too. That's how I see it.
I would have answered exactly the same thing. I mean, no, but to be honest, the crypto and the project that you've seen, if you are in the space in 2015-17, is not now the same. For sure, you have evolved the EOS now, so there was the EOS, but I mean the DeFi, the metaverse, and so on. It's not what you had in 2015. So typically, and the CPUs, as you said, has evolved dramatically.
But actually, it's not the biggest threat. The threat is not quantum computers. The biggest threat is everything that's happened on social media and the phishing attempts. So a lot of friends and a lot of people online lose good crypto and good NFTs because they get offered a link, or actually the Discord. Actually, the Discord of the Bored Ape was hacked, and there was a link to get an airdrop or to get something free. People clicked on it, they accepted with their wallet, and their ape got stolen. So it's actually, you have to be very careful which links you click on and to make sure you are really on the good website if you are supposed to get something free or somebody tells you on the NFT on the wallet. Because when you sign with the wallet, you must make sure that you sign what you sign. Otherwise, you can lose what is in your wallet. That's actually the biggest threat today.
Okay, so what I will do is I will conclude the Q&A session together, but you can start your personal Q&A session with our speakers and all the very knowledgeable people in the room. I can only motivate you to invest a little bit of time on your iPhone, on your computer, anytime, any day. We released yesterday the first 4 videos. So one from Roger, who is a white hat hacker, on how hackers attack your companies. One from Alain with Eric Larchevêque, which is in France one of the very, very admired entrepreneurs who founded Ledger. You have Eric Chinchon, who is here today. He can take questions from you too, with Rodolphe Hasselwander, who is famous in France in robotics. He just made a partnership with Mrs. Macron. And Biba and Arnaud interviewing Junya Yamamoto. Again, it's not very long, 20 minutes, very high level, so I can only motivate you to invest the time so you can learn a bit. Then you can send your questions to us and we will forward them to the decision makers. So thank you very much. I will direct you all to the cocktail and again continue the conversation. We're going to end it on November the 30th. In the meantime, let's learn together about the future of finance.